Hello, my name is Alun. My pronouns are he, him, and tonight I'm running the first of a two-shot of my own game, Alien Dark. I'm running this as part of the Open Hearth gaming community. If you don't know about the Open Hearth gaming community, please type Open Hearth gaming community into your Google search, and lo and behold, you will find us. And come play with us because we think we're quite, the table culture here is very nice. We mostly play indie games, though yeah, we played a bit of Star Trek Adventures recently, which I consider to be reasonably trad. Anyway, come play with us. This is not the Alien Dark that is available from itch, though you can get a free copy of the game, the base game, from itch. I'm tweaking bits of it to take advantage of some of the additional mechanics in another game of mine called Against the Dark Conspiracy. Maybe there might be an Alien Dark second edition. I don't know, but it's a slightly more sophisticated game than it was. I think, I hope. So we are playing in the Alien universe. I will just run through my kind of CATS document, my concept, aim, tone, and subject matter, just so we're all on the same page. We are playing in the Alien universe. It is late in a retro future 22nd century. Greedy corporations vie for valuable resources, colonists reach for the stars and gamble with their lives, and each new world is both a threat and an opportunity. Technology is very much retro future, so it's bulky. It's that late 1970s view of the future. There may be rumors of something out here that's strange and deadly, something alien, but so far humanity hasn't encountered anything more dangerous or intelligent than a bunch of bugs. We are playing a kind of starting position called distress signal. The characters are members of the 7-person crew, well, technically 6 persons and a passenger, of the USCSS Omestra, a Bison-class towing vehicle stroke general merchant freighter. They have been contracted to haul ore from the Outer Rim territories to Earth and are on their way home to Earth when we will begin the game. And the crew are going to be woken from hypersleep early when Mother picks up an automated distress signal, which their contract requires them to satisfy themselves about, and we'll play to find out what happens then. This game is timed to take place a few years after the escape pod, and it depends how much you know of the Alien movies here, but some of you might. This game is timed to take place a few years after the escape pod from the USS Sulaco, and I notice that is, I think, behind Ronan, crash landed on a planet called Fiorina 161, and the events of Alien 3, the third Alien movie. There's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3. But the characters, of course, know nothing about that or those events, which were all covered up by Weyland-Yutani, who own the facility on the planet. We, the players, know lots, but they, the characters, know nothing until they find out some stuff. This game, this session, is intended to recreate the atmosphere of the Alien movies. We have everything that franchise has brought to popular culture, and the game is intended to be rich in tension, darkness, and foreboding. And, you know, there's a content warning here. It is likely to be gore and body horror. Seems very likely as people serve as the hosts for xenomorphs in this game. And, of course, are viewed as entirely expendable by assorted corporations, but the company, Weyland-Yutani in particular. Basically, the fate of the characters is pretty bleak. Now, given the nature of the material, and to make sure that we're all kind of comfortable playing, we're going to play, as in all Open Hearth games, with a set of layered safety tools. We're playing with lines and veils, and I'll direct the players to just check out the Safety and Links tab. I've got some starting lines, veils, etc. there. A line is something that we will not cross in the fiction. A veil is something that might appear in the fiction, but we will fade to black when it does. You know, for instance, because I'm aging and British, any kind of sex gets faded to black because just we don't want to talk about it. I certainly don't want to discuss it in a game. Lines and veils will go a long way to making sure that we've got a kind of collective understanding of what we're comfortable with and what not. The players will notice that I have ticked some stuff in the probably inevitable column. because this is a game where gore is pretty much inevitable. There may well be alcohol and drug abuse. Infection, in the sense of infection with an alien parasite, is entirely possible, as is body horror. And of course, the whole xenomorphs and their life cycle is on the table. There's some space at the bottom, I'll say to the players, where you can write in anything else and make your selection. And by all means, upgrade anything in Ask First to Veil or Line, or anything in Veil to Line. Yeah, very happy to do that. We're also playing the X card. And I've played with two, but not all of these players before. The best way to play the X card for me is to kind of show it to me. If you prefer to put it in the chat, it's possible I won't notice it. So if anybody else does notice it, draw my attention to it, please. And the X card is there because we can't know in advance what might end up making us uncomfortable. Clearly, there's some stuff that's going to be quite difficult to X card. You know, if we decide to X card xenomorphs, we're going to be on pretty thin ground. But my assumption is that no one signed up for this game without being comfortable with that. But the X card can be used for anything. And my traditional example is someone who played the X card when I had named an NPC entirely accidentally after, I think, their brother-in-law. And then that NPC began to behave pretty badly, and that made them uncomfortable. So we just changed the name of the NPC. Because you can't know what will make you uncomfortable till it does. The thing I would stress is, if something comes up and you think, oh yeah, I'm all right with that, and then it comes up again later, either in this session or next time on this two-shot, that doesn't mean you can't play the X card again, right? Just because you didn't play it the first time doesn't mean you have to live with that decision. If it begins to make you uncomfortable when it comes up again, X card it, it's not a problem. We're also playing with an open door. The open door is there because sometimes stuff happens in the real world away from these cameras, these screens, and if it does, please go deal with it. Right? Don't feel obliged to let the doorbell ring or the phone ring, and when you need to take it, go do it. We'd like to hope that you come back. If it looks like you're going to be away for a while, it's really good if you could put something in the chat to tell us that. But of course, the other use of the open door is, if this turns out not to be the fun you'd hoped it would be, don't stay. Right? Use the open door. Nobody wants to tie anyone to this game if it turns out not to be the one they'd like. I will be using Stars and Wishes at the end of this session as a debrief tool, just to get a flavour of what we liked, what we'd like to see more of, what we thought we'd had enough of, what we'd like to see in the second session, the finale. And we'll also be playing within the Open Hearth Community's Code of Conduct, which is a fairly solid document. You can find it online. You search Open Hearth Community Code of Conduct and you will find it. And I like to sometimes summarize it as don't be a dick. And, you know, no one in the Open Hearth ever is. So it's a very friendly and safe place to play. So that's my pitch for the game. I'm now going to ask the players just to say hello. Don't tell me anything about your characters yet, because we'll come to ask some questions about that. I'm going to run from left to right on the character keeper to start with. So Paul, say hello, tell us about your pronouns, and anything else you want to tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name's Paul, pronouns he, him, and I've been playing with the Open Hearth for some time.
Yeah,
hard to remember how long.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember. I think 2019 was my first game,
yeah.
but I can't quite remember. Long ago in a galaxy far, far away. Move along. Ronan, say hello, tell us about your pronouns and anything else you want to tell us.
Hi, I'm Ronan. My pronouns are he, him, and this is my first session as part of Open Hearth. So looking forward to it.
I feel no pressure at all, honestly. And finally, Brandon, say hello, tell us about your pronouns and anything else you want to tell us.
Hello. I'm Brandon, he, and I've been with Open Hearth since 2019. I know that for sure. Delighted to be back.
Yeah, I should stress, I've run two. This is the second of a pair of two shots that I'm running this month. And Brandon was in the last one, but he is not playing the same character. There is no character carryover in terms of player characters. So with that in mind, let's introduce the characters, can we? So let me begin. This time I'll go right to left, because I'm that kind of guy. So Brandon, introduce us to Layla Karsten.
Layla Karsten is a hotshot pilot, and she is she's the right person to have in a difficult situation and a difficult person to have in other situations. Um, well, because I mean, she's a bit of an adrenaline junkie. And so she tends to make things exciting when they don't necessarily have to be exciting. When things are too routine, she is at her worst. When things are incredibly tense and difficult, she is at her best. So
Am I right
that
in
has
thinking
that has not endeared her to a lot of to a lot of people, because most space stuff is really, is relatively boring, ordinary, routine maneuvers, right? And the times that you need someone to keep the thing from crashing is few and far between, and all too easily forgotten, I think. After the incident is over, that in fact she pulled your coals out of the fire.
and in fact, she is actually fulfilling the role of navigator on the Omestra, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Well, because I mean, she was a pilot. She knows
She knows how to do
she
stuff.
knows how to get any place, and she can land anything, anywhere, under any circumstances, at least according to her.
Okay.
Um,
We might discover that. Okay.
she's physically.
Oh, go on then. Give me a
Oh,
physical
physically,
description.
she's tall and slender, restless, has a sardonic sense of humor that gets more biting as things get tenser. And she has a folding knife that she plays with when she's waiting for anything to happen. So
Now,
she'll just take it out, clean her fingernails, flick it around, spin it around in her fingers.
This clasp knife, is that in your locker in place of the portable digital diagnostic device that I would normally have placed there? Do you want to replace your personal item with a clasp knife?
I don't know what a portable diagnostic device is.
It allows you to make diagnostic things portably. No, it allows you to plug into systems. Treat it as a tool for influencing other electronic devices.
Um, I think her knife is a little too. Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you could have a clasp knife as kind of an entertaining kind of thing to clean your nails with, but the first time you try to stab someone with it, I will have it break.
Well, then I'll take the knife. Yeah.
Okay, overtype. I think you should be able to overtype in your locker with a clasp knife, and then we can make it a slightly bigger knife that could actually stab somebody. Let's go next to Ronan. Ronan, tell me a bit about Benny Doyle.
Yeah, so Benny Doyle is the science officer in the crew. And although he is relatively good at the job, he's there for very much ulterior motives. He's more running from something at home. And his talents in chemistry have been used for less than salubrious purposes in the past, and probably really since his early days in university, and that has gotten him into a lot of trouble, and he's kind of run away from some of those troubles at the moment.
Run away to the circus.
Yeah, well, that's yet to be seen, but
fair enough. Yeah.
But what he has discovered is that people in all walks of life need talents like his, and he's been able to bring some of his old life with him, let's say.
Well, let's see what we make of that. There's a hanging check of something. And finally, Paul, tell us something about Jim Harris.
Hello, the character I'm playing tonight is Jim Harris, pronouns he, him. Jim Harris is a quite an old, late 50s, early 60s black guy, ex-colonial Marines dropship pilot. That was in his younger days. He's now progressed, joined a company, and he's quite a company man. He's worked his way up, and now he is the exo pilot of this ship. He spent a long time in space, and I think you can sort of see that with his interaction with other people. He mumbles a lot, stoops because of the low corridors. And yeah, he probably wouldn't be great in a crowd, but starships are quite good because there's never many people about. Most of the time they're sleeping.
Indeed, indeed. And I guess that also appeals to Layla, the fact, you only have to wake up when something serious happens. Um, so that's helpful. Thank you. I'm going to go back across the character keeper. So I'm going to start with Jim now. So former colonial marine, where he flew as well as fought, um, or uptrained to pilot these big beasts.
Yeah.
Why did he come out here to the frontier? Because he could have got a job driving the amount, what amounts to buses between the planets of the core worlds. Why come out here to the
The progression within the company is quicker the further out you take jobs.
Oh, so he's
So
still ambitious despite his age.
yeah, I think he still wants to make captain, really.
Oh, wow. Well, I wonder if we might discover that a vacancy arises. Who knows? And in his locker he has an illegal sidearm, a souvenir from the Corps. Does anybody else on board know he has that?
No,
It's illegal in the sense that the only firearm that's supposed to be on this ship is the one that is locked in the armory under the control of the captain and mother.
no, he's had no reason to ever brand it before, so it just sits there nicely dormant in his locker.
Fine. Okay. Then let's talk about Benny. Benny. Why did Benny come out here? You've hinted at your own, and give us a bit more meat on the bone for this one.
So Benny has debts. It's not surprising. He's partaken of a lot of the products he's produced in the past, and a lot of the time the people who he's supposed to be producing for don't really appreciate that sort of thing. One particular client of his was a man called Mulligan. He was very rich and powerful, but he was also a gangster. And Benny did not have the product or the money for him to pay for it, and really signed up at the first opportunity to go off planet. And yeah, well, since being out there, he's discovered that it's actually possible to also make quite a lot of money on one of these trips. Not only through his salary from the company, but also, a little bit of trading on board whenever the opportunity arises.
So in terms of what you owe and to whom,
Yes.
then that's Mulligan's gang, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And is it product, or is it just you need to pay them off?
He was looking for product. There's no doubt about that. But well, Benny's got a couple of ideas. Either he can somehow make that good through the resources from the company, which, I don't know, he might have the opportunity to pocket, or that maybe Mulligan will accept credits in return.
So I'm just curious because, you have access to everything on the ship as the science officer, because technically there's the captain who has access to everything, including the armory. The XO has access to everything except the armory and mother, unless the captain is declared unfit, presumably by the science officer. And then the science officer has access not just to everything the rest of the crew have access to. They have access to science stores, which includes medical stores. So is Benny overusing certain medical products and just putting them aside, or what? Yeah, I'm just curious whether there's an opportunity there for someone with this sword of Damocles hanging over him.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's stealing company resources and occasionally using the equipment to synthesize his unique product.
Okay. The important part of that phrase is stealing stuff from the company. That's very interesting. So if you would put something, just an aid memoir, a couple of phrases or a sentence into that box on what do you owe and to who, because it could turn out you actually owe the company quite a lot of money, couldn't it?
Well, I mean, I suppose
only if they were to find out, obviously.
if they, yeah, but
yeah, of course.
he's
Yeah,
not thinking of that. He's
No,
not
of course
thinking.
he's not.
He's only thinking of Mulligan.
No, the chance of that happening is tiny, tiny.
Who would ever know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Finally, let's come to Layla. Why did you come out here, Layla?
Restlessness. Then the frontier lets you lets you get your adrenaline fix. Things were boring.
Well, I mean, there is an option for the mechanical answer to that, which is oh no, maybe I didn't get no, there isn't. You put curiosity.
Oh.
You've always been fascinated. I just want to check that is what you mean.
Oh, you mean as opposed to boredom?
As opposed to yeah, exactly. That's what I'm.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with boredom. Boredom's good.
Okay. So what? So
my eye flicked over that.
So what makes the frontier more exciting than the core if it isn't obvious to everyone? What would Layla, if Layla was having a drink with someone and said, life out here is really exciting and back in the core it's a boring shithole, what examples would she cite?
Well, it's not exactly that it's lawless out in the frontier, but that the law is more selectively applied. There's more room for someone to be able to make a living and prosper, finding their own path, and rather than back in the core, everything's pretty cut and dried. The rules are the rules. If you want to get anywhere, you have to join one of the big companies and soldier your way up through the ranks. And that's the most intensely boring thing. Here, if people see talent, they're willing to trust you with a lot of things because everything's a risk.
Okay.
It's just a much more, I mean, she wouldn't say it's more of an entrepreneurial space, but that's a way of thinking about it.
Okay. I get that. Let me go back around to Jim, because while you told me you came out here for promotion and you have chosen progress, but the question I'm going to ask you about progress is what have you heard that they're doing out here that sounds like progress or an opportunity for your personal progress? Oh, you are muted.
I think that the back chatter is that the corporations have found something or some mineral, and basically if you can get in on that early, this could be the 24th century's Bitcoin.
Okay. And so if you did come across this kind of progress, would you be interested? It sounds like you're interested in supporting the company's efforts.
Yeah.
Fine. Put again a couple of phrases or a sentence or so in that cell on the character keeper, just as an aid memoir in case we need it later. I think we're nearly done in terms of character creation for the players. I will just explain to Ronan, who is most unfamiliar with this. You'll notice that below all those bits of question, Ronan, there's a mobility and equipment. The bit of this game that makes it Forged in the Dark adjacent is that you don't tell me what you're carrying until such time as you need to tell me you're carrying it. Okay. And you will see that there's a long list of equipment down the bottom there. And some of it has one box, some of it has two little boxes next to it. That's the amount. That's the number of slots on your equipment list that it would take. And as you get more, you get slower. And as they say, I don't have to run faster than it. I have to run faster than you. So there we go. So that is our player character, but we also have and rest of the crew. So now I'd ask you to have a look at the crew tab, please, because there's a character and then an add and crew. So if I'm not much mistaken, we have a captain that we need to identify. We have a chief engineer, an engineering tech, and a passenger in the shape of some company rep. This might be a Weyland-Yutani rep, or it could be somebody else. Could be small fry. Could actually be someone that who travels with you all the time, doing the business end of your local work. I don't know. But I'm going to ask each of you in turn to tell me something about these characters. So I think I went that way last time. So I'm going to start with Paul. Paul, tell me about the captain. Do you want to give the captain a name or choose or overwrite a first impression?
Captain Merton.
Merton? Yeah. Then let me ask Ronan, if you hit the drop down on choose or overwrite, you'll find a range of characteristics. Which one of those do you want to attach to Captain Merton?
This is under first impressions?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And Brandon, I'll be asking you for another first impression in a moment.
Yeah.
Honest.
Honest, good old Captain Merton. Honest Captain
Honest
Merton.
Captain Merton.
What do you want to flesh that out? Because yeah, you may have well chosen dishonest, but
No, I didn't. That would be tricky.
Disorganized, honest but disorganized, heavily reliant on his XO by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Then let me go next to Ronan. Ronan, do you want to name our chief engineer? Oh, and Paul, can you give me some pronouns for Captain Merton? And if you want to try and find a picture for them, that's fine, but let's not sweat that. So, Ronan, a name and pronouns for our chief engineer.
How about Erika Takayama?
Fine, fine. For what it's worth, folks, you'll find a link under inspiration on that tab, which goes to a Pinterest board with perhaps some appropriate pics to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, Brandon, give me the first impression of Erika Takayama.
This is our chief engineer.
Yeah. Oh, was she passed over as the XO? And
Yes.
and Paul, would you like to add to that first impression of Erika?
Disciplined.
Disciplined. So bitter but suppressing it. I like that. And finally, Brandon, do you want to name our engineering tech?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nathan Picornio. Right. And that, I think, means that I go to Paul for first choice of an impression for Nathan, the engineering tech.
Big long list.
It is. You know me, I love a long list.
Let's go for sick.
Oh, right. Now they're sick in a number of different ways.
Or he was a very
Sick
sickly
ill.
child. Sickly
right.
child.
Right. Sickly, right? Okay, that's because yeah, I should perhaps have sick and sickly in there. Actually, there's three meanings of sick depending on which generation you belong, I think. And then Ronan, do you want to characterize, add the first impression of Nathan? Sick and what?
Uh, impatient.
Oh, is that because he's sick and
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fine. I like that.
No time to waste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every day
And
could be your last one.
indeed, indeed. And then our passenger, who's a company rep, gets a passenger key card, which only gives them access to the habitat deck, deck A. I think it's time for Paul to give me another name.
Let's go with Natalie Hicks.
Natalie Hicks, a company rep. Let me go to Ronan and ask, give me a first impression of Natalie Hicks.
Just wondering if she's any relation.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. A brother in the corps.
Let's see. Persistent.
Oh, right. Persistently what, Brandon?
Oh,
Oh, persistently tough. Ooh, tough cookie. Natalie. And if you want to put a picture in there, Paul, you'll be very welcome to. And if you want one for Captain Merton, that belongs to you as well, Paul, if you want it. So that is our cast of characters. And I guess that our pilot for the miniseries, or maybe no, maybe this is the second kind of TV movie that we're working with here. People saw the last one and they thought, oh, this is worth investing in. So what the heck? So as with any alien movie, it seems to me, it ought to open with something appearing as an overprint on the screen. And you'll find this on the distress signal tab. Commercial freighter, USCSS Omestra, right on a green screen. Green screen in the sense of old computer monitors, not the stuff behind me. Crew, 6+1 passenger. Cargo, sealed ore containers, various. Course, inbound from outer rim territories to Earth. Then Mother 6000 boot process, begin, return. Omestra 190257289, return. Galactic position, 270 times R times 883 star P, return. Velocity status, 58.09%, speed of light, return. Actual time, 3 June, return. Flight time, 5 November, return. Return. Transmission, incoming. Repeat interval, 12 seconds. Return. Journey interrupt. Pursuant standard cargo carriage terms, return. Section 82.34-F, return. Quote, any systematized transmission indicating an emergency broadcast by return, a contracting company asset or related, must be investigated on penalty, return of total forfeiture of shares, return. End quote. Return. Crew waking protocol, begin. And that is where we will then cut to aboard the USCSS Omestra. We cut to the cryo bay, where the crew and its passenger, you see the top of the cryo beds opening. And let me begin by asking Jim, because I'll start using character names as much as I can. Jim, what's the first thing we see of our XO and pilot Jim Harris as the kind of the lids come off and there's that kind of flow of steam and stuff? What do we see?
I think you see Jim turning to Merton and saying, You see him doing a little sort of dance on the floor, and he goes, "God damn it, Murden! Why do they never heat the goddamn floor in this place? It's the last thing you want when you wake up."
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I was going to tell Mother to just alter the protocols. Look, you know, when we go back to sleep, nudge me, okay? Does he call you Jim or Harris?
I think I've known Merton for some time, so
Jim.
shit.
Jim, okay. Benny, what's the first we see of Benny when, as the camera moves around the cryo bay?
Well, Benny is rubbing at his eyes and he's coughing a lot. Like he can't stop for quite a while. And he searches around and says, "Who hid my cigarettes? All I need is a cigarette after being in there for. Do you know how long it's been since I've had a smoke?"
And I think probably it is Erica, the chief engineer, who says, Benny, you know that the difference is real and subjective time? It's like 10 minutes since you put the cigarette out when we got in these tanks.
I know the difference, Takayama. It's not the same. You don't know. You don't smoke.
No, I don't. And one of the reasons I don't is I watch you every time we wake up.
Well, I didn't know you watched me when I woke up, Takayama. That's interesting.
She gives you a look. What about Layla? What's the first we see of Layla as we move around the cryo?
So the cryo capsule pops, and you see her sit up and stretch luxuriously like a panther. Obviously hugely enjoying it. And she gathers her legs up underneath her, and she hops up and she grabs a pipe that's over the cryo capsule, and she does a half dozen pull-ups before kind of swinging her legs out and hopping off and landing on the floor.
Benny watches this in disgust.
I think, yeah. And I think we see our engineering tech, slightly thin-faced, drawn. Oh, Jesus. Does he call you Layla or Karsten? Or do
The engineering tech?
Yeah, do people
probably
in the crew call you Layla or Karsten?
Probably the captain calls me Karsten. Everybody else can make up their own mind.
Okay. And he says, "Oh, Karsten, I do not need you showing off, well, just as I'm, and then he throws up.
It's like, this isn't about you.
Every fucking time. Jesus.
I don't understand what the problem is. I feel fine.
Oh, and
that's one of her irritating characteristics, is that she wakes up from cryo sleep almost like she just had a wonderful nap in a in a luxurious bed.
And he was halfway pulling his jumpsuit on when he throws up and shit, not again, and he's brushing it off the knees of his suit. And so yeah, I guess we then see you all climbing into your kind of coveralls, your Omestra with a little badge. Apart from, well, I don't know. I think, yeah, let me come back round. This is a question to the player as much as to Jim. Is this Paul? Is Natalie part of the team, or does she work for a company out there?
She works for a company out there, and she's got her own uniform.
Fine. So Natalie is not independent in the sense of she's not someone that gets shares like you do. So let me ask again a question as much for Ronan as for Benny. Why is she on the ship? What's she's traveling as a passenger. What's the gig?
Or Natalie?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure Benny knows.
Aha.
But he's extremely suspicious. He is sure he's kind of paranoid by nature, for obvious reasons, because sometimes they are out to get you, and he's discovered that to his detriment. So, yeah, no, he's extremely nervous that she's there for him.
How do we, the audience, know that he's nervous? Does he express this to someone? You know what? Or is there something that we can find out about how she joined the ship? What is it that's that we means that we know he's suspicious?
He assiduously avoids her directly, but hangs around listening to her talk to others as much as possible.
Well, then who do we see her talking to? To Layla or to Jim?
Well, I'm gonna say Jim, I guess, is the XO. Yeah.
What has she come to you with a question about, Jim?
About why we've dropped from or why we've been awakened.
Well, I mean, that's the bizarre thing, because clearly she's the only one who's noticed the date and time readout. And so, you know, that's the first time that any of the crew realize that you're not, you know, approaching Earth orbit, that, you know, you are a month or so out from Earth. So what's your reaction to that, Jim? You know, apart from that initial kind of, what do you mean?
I'll turn to Captain Merton and say, Captain, what the hell has Mother been doing?
And I guess that's when everybody else kind of notices, and Merton says, I've got no idea. And I love the picture of Merton, I have to say. Looks like a heavily bearded and coiffed Brian Cox to me. And so says, okay, you know, okay, you got 5 minutes, then let's sit down and find out what's wrong. You know, Erica, check that we haven't got any malfunctions. Carsten, check where we are if we're not at home yet. Jim with me. Miss Hicks, yeah. Benny, Nathan, help Erica. Benny, find a cigarette. And he leaves on his way to the mess. And I guess that's where we'll cut to, with everyone sat round that circular table in the middle of the mess area, with, you know, their hot drink of choice. Some cigarettes are being smoked. And Merton asks people to check in. So, and the first check-in is from you, Carsten. So Carsten, if we come out early, where are we? I mean, you know, and you can tell him that you are in orbit around a planet called Fiorina 161. Then Benny, have you done anything in the intervening kind of time or have you just been having a quiet smoke somewhere?
Benny, how much time, like, is it quite a lot of time in between or just minutes?
Plot time has elapsed. You tell me what he would like to have started doing, and I'll tell you whether he's got anywhere with it.
He wants to go snooping on the computer for his own purposes, to see where they are, if he knows anything about it, why they might have stopped here. He doesn't believe this notion about, you know, being pulled out for no reason. So he's suspicious, as always.
Okay, I've added well, I will have added a moment. Hang on. Oh, sorry, a mismouse. C to there and there. Okay, I have added something on Fiorina 161 to the distress signal tab. So that's where you are, and I guess, Benny, that is what you've discovered. Because while technically only the captain has direct access to Mother, in the sense of only he can genuinely make Mother do things, you've got access to the kind of public information from any terminal on the ship. So what you've got here is that some people, in some catalogs, Fiorina 161 is called Fury. Surface barren, rocky, brownish grey. Extreme temperatures from 40 C in daylight to -20 at night. Eccentric system relative to the system's binary stars makes that kind of temperature really weird, depending on which stars are in the sky or whether there are none there. Planet's atmosphere is breathable, and there's lots of surface water, but it tends to be bound up in large oceans, which are acidic. Generally flat terrain around a mothballed ore processing plant. So severe winds worsen during the night cycle as temperatures fall. The ore processing plant, which is the only structure on the planet, is in a shallow, naturally occurring valley overlooking one of the oceans. Day length is longer than Earth, approximately 80 hours, so 40 hours light, 40 hours dark. No significant indigenous life on Fiorina beyond some tiny parasitic lice-like arthropods. Fumigation is recommended when returning to the ship to avoid costly professional cleaning when next in port. The ore processing plant refinery has not operated for several years, while the correctional facility that was located there closed down about 2 years ago after an outbreak of a disease led to the death of all the remaining staff and inmates. Wayne Yutani, who built the ore processing plant and ran the correctional facility, have provided proof that the pathogen concerned was only dangerous because of some dietary deficiencies among the people living here. No additional protective measures are necessary. That's what Mother can tell you. Now, that's something that all we players know, but do you share that, Benny?
Yeah, I mean, Benny's coming in hot. He's going like, this is bullshit. What the hell are we doing in a place like this? It's potentially covered in disease and the sorts of life forms that you don't want infesting your ship, to be honest, Captain. Why should we be stopping here? Even if there is somebody down there who needs help, does it have to be us?
Well, and I guess that's when the captain has had a few words with Jim about, where are we in terms of what are our obligations here? What's gone on? Because he'll play you that distress signal. And it's literally just a coded, dot, 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 the 22nd century equivalent of an SOS. So Jim, he says, are we bound to investigate this? And I'll refer you here, Paul, to the bit on distress signal that talks about standard cargo carriage terms.
I think we are, Captain. If not, we're going to lose our share of the profit of this run. It's a distress signal. You got to at least investigate.
So something down there has pumped a distress signal out into the world, and Mother has just made this decision for us?
What I need to know from you, Alan, is when did we receive the distress signal? And it states there that we're going 58% the speed of light.
Yes. About 2 weeks ago.
Are we now doing 58%
No,
speed?
you are now orbiting the
No.
planet.
Okay. Are we closer to Earth or are we further away?
You're marginally further away because Mother has diverted you here. She didn't wake you before this because, as far as Mother is concerned, this is pursuant Standard Cargo Carriage Terms Section 8234F. So this was not a decision. This was not a human. This wasn't a necessary human intervention. So she's followed her coding, the regulations, and didn't wake you because that just eats into her life support.
Captain, we are going to be out here longer than we are contracted, though. So I think we should at least negotiate some more pay.
Well,
we are duty bound to investigate, but our time is our time. And we're now further away, and we're decelerated, so we're going to have to re-accelerate. We've lost time.
So this place is at us. What? So when
my daughter, she may be 35 when I get home. I was hoping to get there for her 33rd birthday.
Let's go to Carsten, our navigator.
Yeah.
Have you done anything else apart from announcing that you're in orbit around a planet called Fiorina 161? Have you
Yeah,
done
no,
anything
I'll
else?
yeah, I'll do a scan. We've got a distress signal coming. Is there any other signs of energy use down there?
Okay, well, let's engage with the mechanic, colleagues. So you will find a link to the dice room in the safety and links tab up there near the top. It's a dice pool game, so everyone uses the same set of dice. And once Ronan is in there, I will explain how it works.
I'm in.
Okay, because the other two kind of know the basic principles. You will see that there is a grey dice in the middle, currently marked 1. That dice you always get to roll. So you always get to roll a dice. If any of your expertise, so in the case of Carsten in a moment, this is a navigation question, where's this signal coming from? They will get to add the expertise dice, which is that orange one on the left-hand side. There is always the option on the table to include a third dice, because the more dice you roll, the more chance you've got of getting a high number, and it is the highest number you get that we're interested in. So there is a thing called the stress dice. You can always use that. It isn't to be used just when you think your character is in a stressful position. The result of the dice will tell you if you're in a stressful position. Yeah? So let me ask Layla. Certainly navigation expertise is on the money here. So it's grey and orange. Would you like to use the stress dice?
Do I have an equipment bonus here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because you the fact your navigation expertise counts here, I think.
All right.
It's you and the ship.
Yeah, well, this is an odd little SOS, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's an SOS you need to know more about, certainly, I think.
Yeah, but also, this is an unused facility. Right? There's no reason for it to have an SOS signal.
Right. So before you roll the dice,
something strange is going on. So I think I will put in the stress die.
Before you roll it, let me just guide Ronan through the way we're using this mechanic. If you now, Ronan, go to the basic moves tab, you will see those are the things you can do, or what you do, I will interpret into one of these moves. And
sorry, could you repeat that? You just broke up a little bit for me there.
Sorry. So if you go to the basic moves tab,
basic moves, gotcha.
Yeah, you will find on there, those are the mechanics that when you tell me what you do, I will interpret that into one of those moves. And in this case, Layla wants to ask me a question, I'm guessing, about this SOS. So there's a move top left called investigate. When you want to ask a question about someone, something, or somewhere, or want the GM to reveal something about the situation, roll a d6. That's the grey one. Add another one if expertise counts. It does in this case with Layla. So that's, and then you can always add the green stress dice, as it says, if you're willing to take that risk. In or out, Layla, with the green?
Yes, and so what I'm doing is, so I'm clicking on each of the dice to highlight them, and then I'm going to click the little roll selected dice circle
Bottom.
at the bottom there,
Yeah,
which
you.
will actually roll them. And
Okay.
I've got a 4, and it wasn't the stress die.
So, Ronan, all we're interested in is the highest dice roll.
Yep.
If the green stress dice is equal to or greater than your highest, then there is a consequence involving stress. And of course, your stress track is what keeps you in the game. There are ways to manage it down, but I'll touch on that when it matters.
Gotcha.
So on a 4, it says you get the minimum needed to proceed. I will tell you that the distress signal is coming from that ore processing plant and refinery.
It's coming from the plant.
Well, there are acres of it, so it's
Okay,
coming from the
right.
plant.
It's coming from somewhere in the plant. It's not, in other words, it's not coming from a downship or anything like that.
Well, I
as
didn't
far as I
say
can
that.
tell.
I said it's coming from the area of the plant.
Oh, the area
You
of the
want to
plant.
ask
Okay.
me a question, because on a 4+,
Yeah,
you get
is
to ask
I
another
guess
question.
yeah. The question I have is this coming from the facility or is this coming from a down vessel? Can I tell?
I think I can tell you it is coming from an area. There is a beacon, as well as a distress signal. There is a low power beacon that is the facility landing pad. It is coming from away from that, because I
Okay.
like to think of this facility as what amounts to an enormous kind of chemical engineering plant.
Right.
Lots of piping and towers and structure.
Right, and it's got a landing area nearby.
It's got a landing area with a beacon, but the distress signal is coming from further away.
Okay.
Yeah, in the plant, but some distance from the landing pad.
And so yeah, I'll pull up like, kind of the rough what our telescope shows us from space schematic and vaguely where the signal is, so everyone can see it.
Okay, so let me. I will reveal.
There's like a little crisscross, there that's blinking.
Yeah, and of course, this is all very kind of slightly sketchy, green, flickering.
Oh yeah,
70s stuff.
The computer processing what we can see through the telescope.
I've added some files on Fiorina 161, as well as the information that Benny's already determined, mother's files. I've given you a sense there's a significant amount of ore processing, machinery spread over this 2 or 3 football fields worth of ground. There's a main kind of structure, which I've labeled as living quarters. And then adjacent to that, there's a furnace and smelter annex. And of course, if you've seen Alien 3, you might be able to visualize some of this. But so it is coming, and I will tick it. Now, I will say it's coming from Ore Processing Area 1, the SOS. In fact, the better way to do that would be to say SOS. But the landing pad beacon is coming from the vicinity of the living quarters. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's any other questions? Because I think that the rest of the team are probably asking questions about contractual arrangements, following up on Jim. How do we get a bonus for this? Is there a bonus? I think, Jim, the only thing you would say is that, there's always the possibility of salvage. A ship that's abandoned is technically available for salvage. And that would be, that would be fantastic. That would be money in the bank. I think that maybe Natalie will step in here and say, there is a slight technical issue here. My understanding is that Weyland-Yutani still own this site. They have mining and processing rights here. I did read in some newsletter recently they're looking to sell it. But right now, technically, anything down there may well still belong to them.
Surely they have to have at least a person down there. That's standard. That goes back to 1653, I think.
Yes, regulation 1653. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on this. When that Mars base was abandoned by the Europeans back in the day, and I think it was the Japanese that took possession, they won the court case. So all I'm saying is that there just might be, a legal challenge to salvage. Just saying.
Captain, we need to find out if there's somebody down there.
And that says, well, legal salvage.
Technically, Miss Hicks, we're here, and I don't see any Wayland-Yutani lawyers, unless you're a lawyer.
All I'm saying is that there could be a legal challenge to logging salvage.
Come on, guys. You want, I mean, you know, who wants to have the ship maybe impounded because of some freaking lawsuit? Because we took something that wasn't ours, honestly.
We need to find out if there's somebody down there, Captain.
That, I think, is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a space to take a commercial break. I've run a bit over. Sorry about that. I would normally do this every hour. But can I suggest it's 12 minutes past the hour now, back in our seats at 20 past the hour, and then we'll have another break in about 50 minutes?
Yep.
See you then.
Sure.
Okay, back from that first commercial break where we finished with Jim saying we have to go down and find out what's up, I think. So, cut to everyone in their place on the bridge. We know that there's kind of ranked seating here: pilot, navigator, captain, science officer, and a passenger rumble seat over on the side. But I should ask, and again, I'm going to go to Jim here because Merton will come to you for advice. Do we take the ship down, or do we take one of the shuttles down?
Look at that size of that landing pad, Captain. We'll never fit the ship on there. It's got to be a shuttle.
Oh, it would take the spec suggests that it should be able to take you.
Take a shuttle, Captain.
That beacon announces class C and below.
How big is our cargo we're towing?
Oh, you're not. Oh, yes, sorry, you are, in the sense of a large number of enormous carriers. You'll have to disengage from them. You're quite right.
Stay connected, Captain. We'll go down on a shuttle.
That will limit the number of people you can take down.
That's fine, Captain. We don't want to risk everybody.
Okay, so I'm tempted to say, Merton, as you said, well, select your landing party, Jim. Now, my working assumption here that selection of a landing party involves all the player characters, along with somebody else if you need it. So, is there anyone else that you want to take along, team? Ronan, any of the non-player characters you want along?
Yeah, I would like Natalie to come along, since she knows so much about this place. She's so clever. Also, I'd really like to keep an eye on
her. Layla, is there anyone you want to bring along? Or is 4 enough? I think I'm going to top it at 5. I think there probably are rumble seats in the shuttle for 5.
4 ought to be enough to investigate a SOS.
Okay, content with that, Jim? The 3 of you and Miss Hicks. If she agrees to go, and I think her initial response is, well, this has got nothing to do with me. I'm just a passenger. But so what, Jim? What argument do you put to her? Because Ronan says, she's clever, and we know why he would like her along. And we, the audience, do. But what do you say to convince her to go along, Jim?
Natalie, we need your advice on that salvage.
Okay.
Is it Tarnies?
Okay.
Or can we take it?
Okay. She will go for this, but she insists on being cut in as a share. Because this is a crew job, okay? I'm a passenger. I paid for passage. You want me to start providing professional advice and support, then that makes me crew.
Sounds fair enough to me.
If it means we get a cut compared to no cut, that's good with me.
I can offer you some advice on that line. I am qualified in some of these areas. So yeah, she's in for a share. Now that means each of you will lose something on the base share for the contract you were originally fulfilling. But it seems like, you're hoping there's enough down there to make good on that and more so. Fair enough. And we will probably discover in play that Benny has his own little business enterprise going here. But anyway,
Look, it'd be terrible if something happened to her down there. That's all I'm saying.
Jim, the only thing I need to know? No, I don't need to know that at all. You can tell me if you went to your locker before you left and picked up your handgun, if and when you think you need it. So let's have Jim pilot us down with Ronan and Natalie in the rumble seats, and Layla just keeping you in that kind of nice kind of grid box that we know this is going to have. Do you want to take Harry or Sally? There are two in the Bison class. There are two shuttles. They're on the character sheet down on row 45. Sally or Harry?
It's got to be Sally. Harry was a dick.
Okay. There are two EVA suits in there, but I have no problem with you taking another two from the ship's locker. So there's EVA suits for all of you. You shouldn't need them, but you shouldn't get on that shuttle without them. And so yeah, I'm seeing you coming down through the atmosphere of Fury, and it's pretty hairy, Jim. Let's see you pilot us down, or to see if there's anything untoward going to happen. I'm going to treat this as roll to do something else, that catch-all move when nothing else applies. Grey dice, expertise dice, stress dice if you'd like it.
I'm going to push for the bonus dice because we've gone for a shuttle and not a larger ship. It's clearly better at the job.
Yeah, and I was very tempted to take the expertise dice away on the grounds that the atmospheric conditions are so shitty. So you could have the bonus dice if you'd like it.
I will have the bonus dice.
Fine. Then expertise will be cancelled by environmental conditions. Thank you. It always felt better rolling with a bonus dice, I think. Do you want the stress dice? Do you want the stress dice as well?
No, I'll just roll on 2.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Oh.
4 and a 1.
4. Okay, so on a 4 to do something else, you succeed with no obvious complications or benefit. Apart from, as you follow the beacon in, you discover that there is a Bison-class towing vehicle on the pad. Now, because you're in the shuttle, you can put down beside it. But that's not where the SOS came from. Layla is convinced that it came from, kind of half a click that way.
Shit me, somebody else is already here. There goes our money.
What do you mean somebody else is already here? We're following an SOS.
No, you're going down to the landing pad, I think.
No, I'm just saying, but we're following an SOS. Unless this was a purely automated system that somebody left by accident that's turned on because it's a malfunction. Of course, there's somebody else down here.
The SOS isn't coming from there? From that ship?
No, it's not coming. Christ. Do you think somebody walked here from whatever planet they were from?
If they were going to raise an SOS, they'd push it on that ship, man. Did you fall on your head in cryo sleep, fool?
Layla.
You want to do this right here, right now?
I'll whip your ass, boy.
Maybe they took like
boy is singularly inappropriate.
Yeah.
But if you want to whip my ass, I give you an open invitation.
Do you see those stripes there? Have you got any? This is not a dialogue, it's a monologue. Sit in your seat. We'll deal with this when we get back to the ship and the captain.
Layla, do you want to see if there's anything coming off that ship that you're now kind of hovering over while Jim kind of works out the best place to put down?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Do you want to do anything in terms of, running any kind of remote sensing on the ship that's sitting down there?
Absolutely.
Go
Is it
ahead.
powered? Is it? Yeah. Is it?
Expertise. You're on a roll to investigate. You get
Yeah.
the grey dice. You get the orange dice. You can have the stress dice if you'd like it.
Not this time. Got a 4.
Okay. It appears to be sitting there pretty much dead. It's not broadcasting anything. What you're getting is the reactor is still running. So it appears to be running with, normal systems, but it's not broadcasting or doing anything else. And then you can ask me another question if you want to.
About the ship or about things?
On the basis of what I've just told you, or where we are, or you have the fictional positioning to ask.
So you'd said before that the beacon seemed to be coming sort of from the living quarters.
The living
Area.
quarters are kind of within a brief walk from the landing pad. Yeah.
Got you. So the ship's got power, but the signal's not coming from them.
Yeah, they're not broadcasting anything. Not even kind of, you're not picking up.
How cold are the engines? Has the ship flown recently, or has it been sitting on the pad for quite a while?
It's been on the pad for a while.
Okay.
How
That's
long
all.
a while?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
past a certain point, the
Yeah.
the radiation count drops to nominal.
Ronan, any observations, questions, or do we see you do anything at this point?
I'd like to see if I can't investigate the area around the landing pad. Is there any movement? Are there any people down there? Or is there any damage or anything to indicate that something happened down there?
Okay, go ahead. Grey dice. I think that what am I looking at as like expertise here? I think the science officer probably would give you the benefit of the doubt. So expertise as a science officer, and the stress dice if you'd like it.
So I just choose each one. I just select them.
Click on one, and you'll see that a little kind of box appears around them, and every one that you click will light up, and then that will have lit up a little kind of purple button bottom towards the bottom of the screen with a little arrow that goes round. Click that, and they should do their thing.
That's fine. I think it's a little early for Benny to be getting that stressed out, so it's just going to be the 2. And that's a 6.
6. Oh, whizzo. Okay, so on a 6.
I'm sorry, did you just say whizzo?
I did. I did. I love a 6. So on a 6+, you get the minimum needed to proceed. I think that as you kind of run the optical, Layla's focused on the ship and, temperature and is the reactor still alive and stuff like that. You're running the kind of visual scope over the area around the ship. And I will tell you for nothing that there is some sign of weapons fire. It's quite difficult to make out, in the wind and the dust, but I'm going to give you that for nothing. And then on a 6, it says, I will also answer 2 other questions that you have fictional positioning to ask. So what else do you want to know?
Okay, with that 6, if there's a sign of weapons fire, where was it coming from and where was it going to?
Okay, I think that it looks like it came from the ship towards the area around the ship.
Just all around?
I think you'd have to be on the ground to do that. I think what I'm giving you is that you can't see marks on the hull. Certainly not on the bits of the hull you can see from up here. One more question to go.
Is there, you said already that it doesn't look like there's any damage to the hull or...
Well, you're currently, Jim has come in, he's hovering over the pad. He's going to put it down over there next to this thing in a bit.
Yeah.
From the view you've got.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
So you're looking at the top and kind of down one side of it.
Yeah. Can I see if there's any open entrances to the surrounding buildings?
Oh, to the buildings. There is certainly, you know, a short walk away, 20, 30 yards. You can see that there's some kind of lock into what you know to be the living quarters.
The living quarters. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it says also mark intel. You've picked up some piece of information. We don't define it. You just put a tick in your intel track. That is non-specific, and you can spend that in a number of different ways. But it says, before saying what freaks you out or highlights potential danger down there, Benny, because the thing about a 6 is it's a bit of a two-edged sword. You get intel, you get good outcomes, but also you get to tell me what freaks you out or worries you at this point.
Right now?
Yeah. What do you see down there that scares the shit out of you?
Nobody said anything about shooting. This is gone completely tits up. How did I get myself into this situation? How do I keep getting myself into this situation? There's always guns involved.
It is. There's gunfire down there. That was not in the spec. And it says roll for stress. Now, what this means is you pick a dice that you think likes you, and you roll one dice, any dice you like that you think likes you. If you come up with a number that is higher than your current stress goes up by 1.
So my stress, that's what, 0? Oh, it's 1.
No, it's 1. It's always 1. So if you roll a 1, Benny kind of just absorbs the pain.
Okay.
Pick a dice.
So I want a low rolling die.
No, you want high.
You want one that likes
or low.
you.
Yes, you want one that likes you, so it rolls 1.
Yeah. So you know.
I'm gonna look expertise then. Go on.
Okay.
Right. See what happens.
A 2. Stress goes up by 1. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
And in, you know, if you want to have a look at a tab marked Seek Relief, which is Seek Relief from the Horror, it will tell you how you can get rid of that stress.
Oh, I think we all know how Benny's dealing with that.
But right now, Jim, Benny has identified some signs of weapons fire down there. Does that change your plan at all, or is it still you still going to put it down beside this thing?
Yeah, beside it. Yeah. Let's get it under the range. Plus, Benny found an entrance. Show me the money.
Just Jim, point the guns. Point the ship's guns. Just keep the guns.
The shuttle's not armed.
Great.
It's a van to take you from orbit to planet.
Piece of shit.
So down we see this coming through the wind and the murk, down these high towers either side around this landing pad, this enormous Bison class towing vehicle, just like yours. Wayland has made thousands of these things, tens of thousands of these things, and you put the ship down, Jim. What do you you know, you're in charge, Jim. Now, you know, none of that will take agency away from the players, but what are you suggesting happens next?
Let's go get the money, folks. Let's find that beacon.
What do you mean by go get the money?
This is the SOS, you mean? We're interested.
Yeah. Let's find out why it's called this here.
Not the abandoned ship.
So you've put down next to an abandoned towing vehicle that is not signaling SOS. The SOS is about half a click that way.
You said that thing's not been running for ages. That could have been here years.
Not a chance.
How so?
I'm sorry, you were talking about salvage. You realize that thing is the hugest bit of salvage, and it's capable of propelling itself, right?
We got
unlike
to get
anything
paid
else.
for the
Anything
job.
else. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a Bison class carrier there. That is worth more than you and me put together.
A lot more.
I will remind you that legally you are required to.
We
as it-
gotta answer that distress call.
You do. You do.
Yeah, of course we do.
So
what
that's
we're
why
here
we're
for.
gonna go in. Let's
But
suit up,
you keep
folks.
talking about salvage, and it's like, if you want salvage, it's right here. It's not over there.
We gotta do the first job first. Then we can grab this.
That's
what we
crawled
want.
up your ass during cryosleep?
Nothing's crawled up my ass. Don your
Then-
suit. Don't don
then
your suit. I'm going. I'm gonna pick up the stuff and I'm gonna go.
That's astonishing.
Jeez, he's
So-
real impatient, isn't he?
Isn't he?
No, he's more than impatient. He's impatient, angry, and being a complete asshole for no reason I can see.
So he is grizzled vet, spent a long time, always mumbling, pretty tall, so stoops a bit. Off he goes. He's pulled his parka on, put the hood up, and puts a pack on and sets off. Which piece of equipment from the ship's locker did you bring with you, Jim? Because this time I do need to know what you chose.
I bought a motion tracker.
Which I will allow you to use to track the SOS signal. Yeah?
Yep.
Ronan, is there anything on that list that you thought might be useful? Or do you want to leave that choice until it matters?
I'm only just looking at it, to be honest. So, can I ask one question?
Of course.
Can we see if there's power in the facility?
I think that, yeah, there are a couple of windows that look out this way, and it's grimy and dirty, but I think there's dim light in there, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So in your locker items, I take it they replicate the items down below. So if they take up space, they also take up space.
They do.
Very well.
They do.
I'll tick the second of my equipment boxes.
And put a handgun in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But you do not need to declare anything else. I'm just at the moment, I'm saying to Ronan and to Layla, you could have brought something from the ship's locker. I needed to know whether Jim was going to take the motion tracker so he could find the SOS. So that's the only reason I asked. So, Ronan, are you going to stay on the ship or are you going to follow Jim? Or do something else?
Why don't you come with me, Ronan?
Yeah. Well,
Let's check out this let's check out the carrier. They may have log records there that shed some light.
Yeah, log records. That's actually totally what I'm thinking too. Log records. Yeah.
Okay. So Jim sets off in the howling wind, into this kind of morass of piping and tubing and all the rest. And the pair of you are going to try and get on the towing vehicle. And you notice, now with a torch, you can kind of, you've probably got one of those mounted on you. So torch, you can see it is the USCSS Lake. But Jim, let's come to you. Is your objective to get here quickly or carefully?
It's a breathable atmosphere, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unpleasant, but yeah,
Carefully.
It's cold. The parka is helping. It's got a heater in it. It's dusk because it's always kind of dusk. It'll be dark in about 40 minutes, and then it won't be dawn for another 40 hours.
How long will it take me to get to this entrance?
It's half a click away. That's why I'm asking, do you want to go carefully or quickly?
Carefully.
Carefully, fine. So I think probably I will give you the benefit of survival as expertise, just to see whether anything untoward as you do something else. Roll to do something else with the grey dice, the orange dice, the stress dice, if you'd like it.
No stress.
Okay. Oh, three. Three. Okay, so I get on a 3, it says, and I will read this for Ronan's benefit because we haven't done a 3 yet. You either fail or the GM will offer you success at a cost or after a hard choice. They also mark danger. Well, I'm going to mark danger, which is up there top left of the character. And the rules around danger have changed a bit from both the original Alien Dark and Against the Dark Conspiracy. Passive, the Hive doesn't yet see the PCs as hosts or threats. When you mark danger, the GM rolls or chooses. I'm going to roll because I'm just curious. I'm going to roll the stress dice because nobody seems interested in it.
I've used it.
A 3. Oh, that's true.
3.
You get there. The cost is that you notice as you're working through this network of tubes, you know, beep, 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 following the signal, you've tuned into the SOS signal. There's a couple of places where there's this kind of slime over the surface of some piping. What do we see you do when you see the torchlight run across this kind of slime just running off some pipes, Jim?
I think I'll yeah, with my gloved hand, I'll sort of like touch it, see what it's like.
It's glutinous. It's slightly sticky. Where it clearly, some of it, you know, where it's landed on this pipe has begun to harden. But yeah, you know, and as you examine it, the more you kind of examine it, the kind of harder it gets, and you end up kind of making a little ball of the thing, which is kind of small and like a resin of some description, I suppose.
I'll get on the radio.
Mark a walkie-talkie.
Okay. Where are they? Are they near the top?
Left about midway down.
Yeah, I can't remember if I ever tried to make these alphabetic, and as I look at it, I certainly didn't. Would have been good if I had, wouldn't it?
Right beside the sidearm, actually.
Yes.
You've got marked.
Oh, it's on the right, yeah. And that's another equipment slot. I'm now in average speed.
Yeah, so you know, you now run less quickly than the others.
Well, fictionally, has anybody else got one?
I was just about to ask. Do both
absolutely.
Ronan and Layla and Hicks have walkie-talkies?
I grabbed 2 and hand one to Ronan.
Yeah.
Right. So
because it's like you can't ever be in too much communication.
Okay, and I'm going to make a note that Hicks also has a walkie. So that's all the ship's walkie-talkies are out in play. And you head over, I think, Layla and Ronan, Layla and Benny, towards the ship. And, you know, it's this enormous ship. You know, it's like 300 yards end to end. It's a carbon copy of yours. What do you do? Layla, let's come to you first this time.
Get the get the outside airlock to pump.
There's on one of the landing struts, there's a kind of call elevator button, which brings an elevator down and then takes you back up. And
so go to the bridge. I want to go to the bridge first.
Well, let's get you on the ship first, shall we?
Okay.
So you go underneath the ship. Ronan, is that true or is it? No, I think it's Carsten's observation here. Layla, roll with expertise, your observation expertise. I want to see what you notice on your way from the ship to where you know the elevator is. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's another whizzo. So on that, rolling 2, do something else. 1 or 2, you fail, or I offer you success at a cost. The cost, I will give you something to notice, but the cost is you will have to roll for stress.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me roll.
As you head under the belly of the thing towards the landing strut where this elevator is, the elevator is already down, but as you go under, you notice that there is a large breach in the outer hull.
Really?
Yes.
Like a strike from a weapon?
No. From here, you're looking up kind of 30 feet. In these conditions, it's quite tricky. You could have missed it. But roll for stress, and I'll tell you what you see.
I did. I rolled. I got stress.
Oh, you got stress. Stress has gone up. The thing is, it's an irregular hole, and it looks as though it's corrosion.
Corrosion. So not a
Not a missile strike.
not a meteorite or a missile hit.
No. Benny, any
I
thoughts
flicked the
as-
flashlight over that and pointed out to Benny.
Exactly.
Oh shit. Okay, so first it's guns, and now it's what? What is this?
I have no idea. Hey, that's a ship's hull.
Yeah. Do you know what it would take to do that to a ship's hull? Portable diagnostic unit. Could I use something like that in this instance?
Yes, I would let you use that to get some kind of readings. We'll treat it as a kind of local sensor come, interface.
Okay.
So I just need to remember I have a danger in hand that I need to keep on the shelf for a moment while Benny kind of scans
Love that.
this.
That's great.
So I think this fits with your science background, so I got no problem with using the gray and the orange. You can add a third dice for nothing.
Thank you so much. You're so generous and not at all dangerous. Okay, so 3 dice.
Okay.
Here we go. That's 2 5s.
I'm going to treat that bonus die as the green stress dice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that 5 equals the expertise dice. Therefore, your best result is 5. Stress goes up automatically. You didn't when I offered you a third dice, you didn't know which one I was offering you, did you?
No.
Fine. Let's go back to cases. You get the gray dice and the orange dice.
Yes.
The third dice on offer is always the stress dice.
Gotcha.
If the stress dice is equal to or higher than, stress automatically goes up. So
Okay.
do you want to re-roll that stress dice?
No, seems appropriate.
Fine. Okay. So on a 5, I am going to tell you that this corrosion, because now that you've got both your flashlights looking up into this, you can see that it's not just the outer skin. You can see it goes up into a space up there, and you're not certain, but you think they actually something has corroded from the inside out, and quite what you're not certain. So that you can have for nothing. Now you can ask me another question if you want to.
Okay, you've already described the hole as quite large, but
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I say large. It's probably 4 or 5 feet across.
Okay, all right.
Maybe a bit more than that, but that's the kind of.
Yes. So now that I'm looking up there, is there any sign of movement up there? Is there any sign of organic or other matter within the hole, or on the top of the deck that we're looking up at?
No. But I think I can confirm for you that something corroded through not just the outer hull, but the lower engineering deck above it.
Oh, could I ask, what about the ground we're on?
Oh, right. Yeah, have a look down there. Yes, there is evidence of, and I will now tell you, some kind of acidic reaction. Some of the ground down, because this was a kind of concrete landing pad, and there's less of it, but some of what came out of there landed here and corroded some of that concrete.
Whoa, Leila, stay back. Look at that. Look at it. That's eaten away there. Look at that. This is the shit that's come out of there. Oh my God. I can't.
It came out of there a while back. This isn't new.
Maybe, but
it's not new. It's not wet. Look.
Maybe there's more up there. You don't know. Could I just ask, Alan, should I be on pre-stress now?
Were they carrying?
Hang on.
Industrial?
No, Brandon, hang on.
Yeah.
Ronan hadn't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wanted to find out. I think I just had a wee bit of a lag there. Should I be on 3 stress now?
I think, well, as I'm not going to put you to that, because I should have explained which dice you were rolling. So no, I'm going to ignore that stress dice roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
so
yeah,
I'd
and
say
I've used up the danger that I marked when Layla didn't see or saw something a bit scary. So that is a strange, unexplained event.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Sorry.
like, were they carrying industrial acid as a cargo?
Well,
I
they
mean,
wouldn't carry
there
that
is some
in the ship.
utility. There's some utility to that, but this part of the sector is a I don't know where the market is for that.
Even if they were carrying that as cargo,
But it
it
means
wouldn't
that
be
they
in the
means
ship itself, right?
well they unless they had an accident. If they had a crack up that broke up some of their internal cargo containers, they could have had a toxic spill.
There's,
Maybe that's what happens.
yeah, there's some real second-rate cowboy science officers out there. You can't count on all of them, you know.
That I think is when your walkie goes off. What do you say, Jim?
Team, it looks like this facility is leaking. Whatever they made here, it's coming out of the pipework.
We have reason to think that there's that the ship was carrying industrial corrosives. And it seems to have had because it seems to have had an accident and burned through the hull.
Maybe this refinery was making corrosives.
Yeah, it's possible, but then they mishandled it or container cracked
Yeah,
or
they could have
something.
been loading it, a spill, and that was
But
it for them.
but why didn't they ask for help then?
Jim,
What's going
that
on
is
now?
when you hear another voice in your vicinity. What do you do?
Quickly over the walkie-talkie. I hear somebody, folks. There's somebody here.
Good. You can explain.
And a figure begins to emerge from out among the pipework, Jim. What do you do?
Who are you?
And you hear an echo. Who are you? And Natalie Hicks. It's okay. It's just me. I followed you. You took off at such a pace, though.
Oh, that's fine, Natalie. Just don't creep up on a guy like that.
I wasn't creeping. I just heard the message and sorry.
Look at this, Natalie. This is some industrial shit.
You're not together, so I'm not going to have the four of you work over the walkie-talkie. We'll go back to Layla and Benny in a moment. But so Jim, she is interested in what you found. What is that? You know, and you show her this little kind of hardening ball of resin.
We need to get to some computer inside and find out what they were making in this facility.
Well, yeah, but hang on, aren't we supposed to be getting to this SOS? You know, how far away is it?
Let's look on the motion tracker.
It's kind of, you know, a 5-minute walk from here.
Let's go and have a look at that.
Okay. And we cut to you emerging again from this network of pipes and tubes and towers and concrete to see another ship. There's an area here. It's not a landing pad. It's just a space between the machinery where this ship is put down. It is significantly smaller than yours or the one that's already down. I've just, whoops, I was trying to add a tab called SOS. Let me see if I can do that again. Well, I see. That's bizarre. I seem to be able to, I've marked it S because
Yes,
my
I
keyboard
can
won't
see
let
it.
me type SOS in. So there's a S, and there's a, now you're former Marine, aren't you? So you will recognize this. This is a G-class resupply ship that was typically used by what in this universe amounts to the Soviet Union. And it's sitting there. It's, you know, it's much smaller than the others. It's maybe 100 meters end to end and front to back. But it's sitting there in this
It's
space.
45 meters end to
It
end.
is indeed. Well done. Thank you. And it's only 20 meters high, so it's, you know, it's on relatively short landing legs as well. But that's what you see. What do you do, Jim? Because, you know, the motion tracker says, you know, SOS signal 20 yards.
And it's here. It's
That's
this.
it. It is broadcasting.
I'll quickly go over the walkie-talkie and say, we've found it. There's another ship down here, some Soviet thing. It's dead small, but that's where the signal's coming from.
Can I go back to Jim? Jim, just check it for acid damage.
Let's have a cursory look.
Let's have you roll to investigate, then, Jim. So
Sorry for
Gray,
forcing you into that role there, Jim.
I don't think any of that skill sets makes you particularly good at observing stuff. So, and you did say cursory. So just the grey dice, unless you want to add the stress dice.
Let's just roll the grey dice. 4.
4. There is no sign of a hull breach. Tell you that for nothing. You get to ask me one more question.
What is the general flyability of the craft?
Oh, I think that's a toughie. It doesn't look like it's suffered any external damage. You can get that for nothing. It's just a cursory kind of pilot check,
Yeah.
But I think in terms of could you get this off the ground, you really need to be inside. Which is
So I've got for
the
3
answer to
no
the
damage.
question.
Okay. Can I hold it?
Hold it for a moment. Give it some thought. I'll cut back to Layla and Benny, where you've discovered that there is a ship that's broadcasting an SOS, not this ship. I suppose I'm interested in whether you continue to be interested in this ship or whether you're now interested in that ship.
I still want to see the ship's logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's critical information.
Because you were on your way to the elevator up to the
Right.
kind of ventral airlock. So I guess you go over there, the lift has come down. So the last person to use this was coming down or didn't cause it to return. You get in, you press the button, it goes up. And there's the external airlock. What do you do? Now, Benny, as I think all the crew would know, that each of these ships has a unique kind of coded entry.
Uh-huh.
But the attraction of a personal, what's the word I'm looking for? A PDDDD,
portable diagnostic unit,
is it would allow someone to interface with that.
Who was good at getting into places he didn't belong.
But I will also note that in your locker is the illegal multi-key, Benny. And I'm just wondering, do you want to declare a diagnostic unit, or do we see the illegal multi-key?
Can I ask Brandon a question?
Sure.
Of Layla? Would Layla ever have partaken of Benny's product of any kind?
What kind of product?
Well, could be anything really. Could be uppers, could be downers, could be steroids, could be, what have we got? Stems, 100%.
When she had to pull a 24-hour shift, or had to be extremely awake for a difficult task of some sort.
So
that's cool.
with
Layla's a customer.
Mind, okay,
she already knows about the
that
past.
you're a bit dodgy. So out comes the multi-key. You slot it up against the pad, and beep, 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 green, 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 green.
Nice.
What is the last scene we see before our next commercial break, Jim? At the other ship, we see the doors open at the lake. What about this one?
So my question to you is, what is interesting about this ship?
Oh, okay. Well, I think its very presence here. I think the fact that it's you would guess it's a surplus ship, because it would be mounting weapons. So it's surplus. It's the thing that is obviously interesting is it's broadcasting an SOS. There may be somebody on there in need.
So I think you see me and Natalie going up to the ship.
Fine. We'll take our last commercial break in this session there. Back in our seats at 10 past the hour. Is that long enough? Fine.
Right. Thanks.
Okay, back from our first commercial break, and we have Jim and Natalie Hicks looking to get aboard this Type G hauler, and we have Layla and Benny in front of these open airlock doors. So what do we see Benny doing? Let's start with Benny this time.
At this stage, Benny is almost beside himself with agitation, extremely anxious, and he lights a cigarette. But then he reaches out for the nearest sort of panel of any kind of control panel on one of the walls, see what we've got as regards power and communications and that sort of thing on the ship.
Fine. Then let's have you roll. I'm going to stop giving you the general science now because this gets into engineering. So I'm looking at larceny. I think you've been to enough different places. I'll give you the benefit of larceny's expertise here to in effect case the joint. So grey and orange, the green stress dice if you would like it.
I'm going to hold back on that. Yeah, there's a while to go yet.
Okay.
Ooh,
a six. Good for you. So on a 6, I will tell you for nothing that life support, everything seems to be running perfectly well. No sign of anything wrong, based on what you can work out from the panel in the airlock.
It's mainly just that hole in the hull then.
Well, just that hole in the hull. But you get 2 questions to ask me. What else have you managed to discover, or do you want to discover about the ship right now?
Can I tell, is there anybody on it?
I will give you a different answer, in as much as I can tell you that 5 people are listed as having logged out, i.e. exited the lock.
Oh. Then
It's not a full
lastly,
complement.
yeah,
Well, it should take 6 to fly one of these things, but So Benny, that's the answer to your first question. There are 5 people left.
5 people left. And when did that happen?
Oh, that's a very good question. Yeah. Okay. So these 5 people, and you've got a set of names, and IDs, which I think I might be able to reveal on the crew tab. Just a moment. Let me hide some people because I don't want them to be visible yet.
Excuse me.
Don't want them. Those rows. Yeah, down on row 15 of the and crew. There's a 5th person that left, and I can't find their row at the minute. I'll add them. Miles Mason, captain. Jennifer Homan, EDI Operations Division. Patricia Bailey, chief engineer, and A. Thorne, pilot and XO.
What are the chances that Erika Takayama has a clone who's also a chief engineer on the identical ship?
It's just too obvious a picture. I will change this Patricia to
rampant stereotyping.
It is.
I know, right?
It is.
It's like
sad but true.
Well, maybe they're all clones. Maybe
androids.
there's this whole clone of engineers.
All androids. It's androids all the way down.
I hadn't thought of that one. What's the chance of that happening?
Of course, the android's usually the science officer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's very true.
It's
Oh, sorry, no, 4 people left. These are
Ah,
the only 4 people who left.
okay. So 4 people left, and those are the only ones that I get any knowledge of then.
Just a moment. G17. Sorry, let me just do that. Oh, that should have worked. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, well, you asked me who's here. I can tell you who isn't here, given the fictional position you're at. You still got a second question left?
No, I think that was my. I think that was my.
Oh, that was the second one.
Oh no, when? When did they? When did they leave?
When? They left. The last entry, there's, you could see the log entry in terms of lock use, and there was a significant amount coming and going, including some other people who aren't listed as the last leavers. And the last time they left was shortly before Mother received the SOS.
really.
Well, what does that mean?
It means
Leila?
they might.
Before I
They might
forget,
still be here.
mark intel,
Yep.
because you rolled a 6.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot about that.
And
And
then
then
roll for stress.
Because this is all very scary, Betty. It's just all very scary. It's
Yeah,
good to be out of that
listen,
wind because you can light a cigarette.
you don't need to tell Benny it's scary, okay? He's constant. So just roll the stress die
Just
once.
one dice. Just one dice. Oh,
Hey, you're good.
You're that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no stress goes up for you. So that's where we are on that ship. Let's cut back to Jim and Natalie. Again, there's a kind of, I think probably here less an elevator and more a ladder access to the lock. There
is
is
there
an
a lock?
elevator. There is. I've just noticed it. On deck B,
Yeah.
which is the lower deck, there's 2 symbols right at the bottom. One, an up and down arrow, which is the elevator, and the black and white square is the airlock.
Okay.
So, but this one is not down, it's up. So first of all, you need to get that to come down. Now, again, these things are security coded. You can call the elevator and the elevator will come down the kind of 20 feet or so that you need to get up. But once you go back up in it, you will have to kind of break in. Yeah.
Yep.
So, up it goes, the pair of you, and then you have to get in. There's a keypad with some Cyrillic symbols. What do you do?
Natalie, do you speak Russian?
Let's assume Natalie can speak Russian.
What the hell does that say?
Well, basically, it's a letter code instead of the number codes that the USCSS insists on.
Can we force the door? Me and her?
You could try that. You could try that. She's tough, and you have survival, which is the closest thing we have to a kind of catch-all for physicality. It probably requires some kind of tool to lever. So, did you think to pick up a useful tool? Or a portable diagnostic unit, which might give you the benefit of a bonus, even if it's not expertise?
Well, I do have machines as a skill set.
Machines.
I do have machines.
You do. So no, I'm going to let you roll machines because there will be a manual override, won't there, for emergency use? So yeah, let's have you roll with expertise to use your machine expertise to find the manual override and kind of just wind it open if you can. Let's
have a bit of stress dice on this one.
Okay, all 3 dice. A 5, it's on the stress dice. Stress goes up by 1, but you wind the door open, and it creaks open, and the lights are not on. So unlike the kind of when Benny and Layla went on board the other ship, emergency lighting came on, you know. But this is a subdued kind of red light.
Air temperature?
I would say that it's not as cold outside, but it's cool. And you've come out, you know, you kind of...
We're in that cargo hold, aren't we?
You're in the cargo hold. You can see the cargo hold on the other side. The other half of the lock has got a window in it, and you can kind of see through that, that it's a cargo hold. And you can see what looks to be chunks of machinery.
Can I identify it with my machinery knowledge?
I think machines. Let's have you roll to investigate.
2 dice.
Not the stress dice. Can I not tempt you with the stress dice?
This isn't that stressful.
Oh,
3.
3. I get to mark another another box on the danger track. And no is the simple answer to your question. I'm not going to offer you success.
It's unknown machinery.
Unknown machinery, just bits of machinery that you know, it's grimy. The light in there is no better than out here. You need to get in there to examine it. Yeah?
Let's do that.
Open it. Yeah. And I think what I can tell you now is that this is bits of machinery from the site.
Okay, so it's part of the chemical plant and refinery.
It looks like some pieces of machinery have been put into the cargo hold from the site. Yeah?
Yep. Love that.
And there's a power loader that would fit through the lock. And what do we see you and Natalie doing? Do you separate and cover enough ground, or what? Do you search the area?
No, I mean, I was quite stressed, and I think that's going to manifest itself as a bit of paranoia.
Okay.
So I'll say, you know, stay close, Natalie. We've got no idea what's in here and who it could be. Let's go forwards to the bridge.
And as you go forward, sitting there, between 2 chunks of machinery, is a leathery sack that comes up to about your waist. Let me cut back to Layla and Benny. What's the plan? You come in. I think I'm right in saying that you come in on deck. You come in on B deck. This takes you up into the bowels of the ship, to the airlock on B deck. Where do you want to go from there? Up to A deck, or down to the second engineering deck down on C deck? What do you think, Layla? I think Benny is sufficiently stressed to probably take your lead if you wanted to give it here.
Well, I mean, the bridge is where the main logs are going to be, right?
They are.
Okay, so that's the first thing.
Okay. Well, there's an elevator, you know, along this corridor and round that corner through that junction. Yep. There's an elevator.
That's the way to go. I mean, this is the same class of ship that we have, so it's like okay, take a left and
yeah. There may be odd differences that will surprise you, but generally speaking, no. If at any time you want to stop and search an area, let me know. But I'll assume you go to that elevator, it goes up to A deck, and you come out just opposite MedLab, which is, you know, on your ship is Benny's territory. And if you just walk around from there, you can get to the bridge.
All right.
Do you want to do anything else, Benny?
I would like to take just a quick look in MedLab. Just, you know, maybe there's something in there that can help us. Why don't you go ahead to the bridge and I'll catch up. I'll be right behind you. No problem.
We don't know what we're dealing with here. Maybe we should stay together.
Yeah, no, I'll be
go
right
ahead.
back.
Go ahead.
I'll be right there.
I mean, I think that Ronan wants Benny to go in there on his own, so I'm not going to stamp on that.
I know that.
So
But I'll let that happen if it's narratively interesting. So fine.
fine.
All
So
right, I'll
Layla
be up
goes off the
there.
bridge.
You know where to find me.
So Layla's on the bridge. Benny, as if we didn't all know, what are you doing?
I've got to see what chemicals they've got there. I've got to see what drugs they've got. Because as much as okay, the ship might belong to the corporation, they're not going to be counting every last little pill.
That's the working assumption, isn't it, Benny?
Yeah.
So I think this is search a location. There's a move called search a location. You are going to find the drugs because it's in MedLab. There's going to be drugs there. You're going to know where they are. But I am interested if you find anything else that might be of narrative interest. So
Me too.
you get the grey dice. I'm going to
Yes.
go back to giving. I'm not going to give you the benefit of science, but I'm going to give you the benefit of larceny because you've got an eye for the valuable. So
Yeah.
you've got grey and orange. You can have the green dice if you'd like it.
100% taking the green dice this time. Yeah, this is what it's all about for Benny. So so not expertise, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to give you expertise because I think larceny is what's at work.
Oh, larceny. Okay. So I'm taking those two and the green.
Yeah.
Right. Here we go.
Oh, a 3.
That's
and
great.
So stress goes up by 1.
That's great.
Worst result. Stress goes up, but you don't succeed.
You don't succeed. So what I think it says on the basic move, 1 to 3, you don't find anyone or anything particularly useful, but mark danger due to noise or clumsiness. Do you or somebody else keep looking, Benny?
No, he immediately gives up. After he makes all that noise, he's freaked himself out. The paranoia is really kicking in now, and he's like, Layla, I'm coming.
Yeah, well, the paranoia additionally kicks in, before you get to the drugs cabinet, because you know where it is, you can get them anytime you like. Yeah. But before you could fill a bag with them, there's a noise in the duct running overhead.
Oh, overhead. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's almost like there was someone in there. Let me leave you with that. Back to Jim.
Layla.
Jim. Yeah, as I say, this leathery sack about, maybe comes up to you towards your waist, hip height, waist height, sitting there, beside one of the heating ducts.
I'll turn to Natalie and say, what the fuck do you think that could be? And I'll give it a little boot.
And oh, that's so delightful. Let me roll a d6.
Boot.
On a 5. Okay. As you get closer, you realize that the top is open. So it's not just a closed sack. The top, there are 4 kind of palms that open up. So it's and you boot it, and it just kind of doesn't make a noise. What do you do?
Let's have a look inside.
Everyone knows what we're expecting here. It doesn't happen.
Hey.
It's empty.
Oh.
So it's just an empty pod.
An empty pod. And then, but Natalie says, do you hear that?
Hear what?
She said, I thought I heard something on the other side of the cargo hold.
Let's get to Mother and find out what the hell's going on in here.
Okay, I think it's ladder access here up to A deck.
No, Mother's on B deck.
Oh, so she is. Well, fancy that. So you're heading
That sounds like Jim's been on one of these ships.
I think I'm beginning to wonder about why you left the Corps.
Are you a defector?
So you're heading
comrade
through all this, and then, Jim, you become aware of this kind of skitter.
As soon as we get into the vestibule, can we shut the door?
So you're at the door to the vestibule. and
Yeah.
this skittering is getting closer behind you. What do you do?
Oh, if it's getting close behind me, let's spin around. I got paranoia. I'm going to spin around with a gun.
Okay, so I am using that failure to introduce what we, the audience, will recognize as a small, vaguely spider crab creature with a tail behind it. And if you go to the Confront Them tab, you will see that there are some behaviors, xenomorph behaviors. Would you like to roll a d6? But first of all, only PCs with survival, cowardice, or deadly can act before a xenomorph. Do you have survival, deadly, or cowardice?
I have 2 of them.
Oh, well, then you can act first. What do you do when you see this thing?
Never seen one before.
No.
Shoot it.
Shoot at it. Fine. Bang, you go. Let's have you roll to confront when confronted by a threat. Your objective here is to shoot it dead, presumably. Yeah, okay. So you're rolling the grey dice. You have shooting expertise. You have deadly, which gives you the bonus dice by rights. You could even roll the green dice.
Let's have the green dice as well.
All four player-facing dice are rolled. A 5.
And stress is the
Good.
highest.
A good time to roll the green dice. Yes.
Stress goes up by 1. The 5, it says on a 5, you are going to succeed. You will apply stress to it, given that you aim to shoot it. And you'll see stress applied to threats. A face hugger takes 2 stress to take them out. So you hit it, or you put it off. Maybe it's plot armor. Maybe it's you blow a leg off. It's interesting if you blow a leg off, I suppose, because then we've got some acid in play. But then it acts. Now I'm going to roll the dice, right? I'm going to roll the grey dice. 1 and 2, it's you. 3, 4, 5, 6, it's her. It springs to all Natalie. Roll me a dice, Jim, to see exactly what it does with Natalie as a target. 3. 2 to 3, it leaps. You choose. Its tail entangles her legs and she falls over, or its tail entangles her arms, she drops whatever she was carrying, which is the torch.
I think that the legs, it's wrapped around her legs and she barrels over.
Next to you. It will now roll to move up her body. Yeah?
You want to go before it?
Well, this is my question. What do you do?
I shoot it again.
Okay.
No miss.
And do you take any effort to avoid hitting Natalie?
No.
Ah!
Where,
Okay.
how did you rise to excel?
It's clearly some kind of traumatic marine experience is kicking in here. So you are rolling grey and orange and deadly for bonus. You can roll the stress dice if you like. I want you to roll a single risk die to see whether there is any acid in play as a response to you firing at it.
I will throw the stress die.
Go for it.
Stress is
goes
highest.
up again. But you hit it. No acid comes your way, but plenty goes through her legs.
Oh, God.
I think, given you were firing at her legs, I think you kill the thing, but it spills a load of acid over her legs, and you see the acid, it goes through both legs. And she obviously. And then it pools underneath her knees and just goes through the deck that you're looking at.
Shit me, that's gotta hurt.
What do you? Well,
Nothing gets by you.
What do you do, Jim? She is screaming bloody murder.
Luckily, I am right by the med center.
You are. So you're going to drag her through to the med center.
I will indeed.
I will cut back to you in a moment. You kick the thing off and drag her through screaming, leaving everything from the shin down back there.
Oh.
Layla and Benny, you are
Fine.
on the lake.
We're just fine.
There's something in the ducts, Benny. Do you walkie-talkie that to Layla? Or do you, and go quiet, or do you run for Layla?
I look, I forgot I had a walkie-talkie.
Well, Benny
I
certainly
assume,
forgot.
yeah, I assume Benny has forgotten all about it.
And I think there's a scene.
He's dropped his cigarette and he's just like, Layla!
Ah! Running, and we got that shot of him running up to one of those junctions and then going away down the other towards the bridge. Layla, you were accessing the logs. Let's see how you did before we get to Layla. I'm going to give you grey dice. I'm going to count expertise. You can have the stress dice if you'd like it.
Got a 6.
You got a
Ooh.
6. Okay. So on a 6, I will tell you for nothing that you cannot access the captain's log because that's locked up with command override over it.
Sure.
But you could ask me 2 questions that you think would be short of that level of captain's log.
Why
You
did they
could,
come
for
here?
instance, try to recover any CCTV.
Yeah, that'll do. For the decks, for the bottom deck.
Okay. I think what you will get a picture of here is a crew who that discovers that something is aboard their ship. There are scenes of them searching the ship. And one of the teams goes into the gap between the internal hull structure and the skin of the ship. And they go in through a corroded hole.
Okay, but no indication as to what made it.
No.
Okay.
Something went on in some corner of sea deck that was, gunfire, and then, chaos. But it's not anywhere near a corridor where there might have been a CCTV. And then a second question.
Let me think. Well, one question that comes to mind is why were they here? But let me. So they there was gunfire. They went after something
They were searching for something.
burned a
There's
hole.
Gunfire, and you can see some kind of almost handheld cam of a couple of them making their way down through a hole in CDEC's floor.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Anything else you want to ask me? Because you've got a second question coming.
Why were they here?
They were fulfilling a contract to a company called Eigen Disposals Inc. They were here. They were contracted to come here, not to carry cargo, but to survey the site. Pending the sale of the site by Wayland Yutani, Eigen Disposals were acting as the kind of brokers.
Gotcha.
And the mission, the contract, was to survey the site and make sure that the paperwork that Wayland had given to Eigen Disposals was accurate.
Yeah, they were here for completely mundane reasons, apparently.
Yes. Yes.
And something came aboard the ship.
They were searching for something on the ship, and something happened. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, something live that they were trying to kill.
And
clearly.
That's when Benny runs onto the bridge shouting, Layla! What, Benny?
I'm right here.
Yeah. Why are you so cool? Why are you so calm about everything, Layla? This shit is fucked up. Do you understand? There's stuff in the there's someone in the vents or something. Maybe did they have a cat? Can you see if they have a cat?
There is no cat.
Did you introduce yourself to Layla?
What? No, what?
This is
I ran
humor.
away. I ran.
You've encountered her humor before.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I ran. My first instinct, Layla, was to come to you because you are so cool and calm and collected.
She well, it looks like we have a situation, she says, and she's smiling.
I think
I
I think we have a
let's
situation. I'm going to cut at that point because I want to
Okay.
go
Light a
back to
cigarette.
Jim. Jim, you drag her through into med bay. It's not as sophisticated as yours, but there is a treatment and some kind of automated life support on offer. She's screaming bloody murder as you heave her up onto the table. Do you apply, anesthetic and you just drop into marine and oh, you are muted.
I'm not a medic. I only know first aid, so let's get you under. Let's get the machine to sort you out. These auto ducts can do wonders to you. Might even be able to fix that.
Yeah, I think we see Natalie going under because just the pain relief, she just, out she goes. And that will save her life. So she's not going to die. But what are you going to do? Are you going to stay with her or do something else?
Are the doors behind me closed?
I'm assuming the first thing you do once you got her on that bench was to close those doors.
Fine.
You don't think anything came through those doors while you were getting on the bench on the bed.
In fact, is Mother in this same location?
I think she might be, because it's a kind of utility space, really. Oh no, Mother is.
Oh
next
no,
up.
Mother's the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a cargo bay above. Has they got? In fact, the cargo bay above. So the ladders going up. Are they? Is it just an open ladder space, or does it seal?
No,
open ladder space.
It's just a ladder.
So I should be able to hear anything going on with her, and that's a computer space, computer terminal up there.
I don't think you need to go there, do you? You've come in on deck B. You've come through the cargo bay, then the vestibule, then med lab, straight on to Mother and the bridge.
Excellent. Let's keep that door open then, and let's see what Mother's about. So it's a mess hall with a server rack in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Much lower security than on a modern USCSS ship. So yeah, let's have you interrogate Murrah. I think this is roll for information. I'm struggling to see any expertise at play.
I'm agreeing with you.
Right, so that's grey and green if you want it.
Let's just go grey. I think the nasty's been dealt with now. I don't think I'm 3.
3. Okay, so on a 3.
Oh, you need to mark another thing.
I do. That's where I'm going first. So that is the first on the hive active. So at this point, the hive is uncertain about the risk or opportunity that the PCs constitute. When you mark danger, there's slime or other evidence of xenomorph. But there's always a quiescent warrior nearby, and the GM rolls or chooses. I'm going to roll again. I quite like the idea of this being random. That is a 4. Okay, yeah, right. So you go, and the lighting here is subdued. It's, it's more reddish than anything else. You go to Mother, and then you are conscious behind you of something just maybe in the reflection from the dead Mother screen before you turn her on. You see a reflection of something uncurling from a space above the mess kitchenette. What do you do, Jim? Because you get to act first because you have survival and deadly. You're just doubly blessed.
I'm just looking at the basic moves. Crowd.
I will point flee for your life at you.
Yeah, let's so you need to get the thingy dice, you need vehicles or cowardice, do you?
It's a foot chase. You use survival or cowardice.
Oh wow, survival. I got survival.
Flee
Yeah,
for your life?
let's hightail back into the previous chamber and shut the door.
There's you know, you get an impression of this large,
It's bigger than me.
bigger than you, and it uncurls slowly, and then you leg it through there. Let's see how well that goes. Flee for your life. Base dice, you get survival counts in a foot chase. So you got those 2 dice. I don't think the bonus dice is at play. You can use the stress die if you'd like it.
Yeah, let's have the stress dice.
A 5, and it's not even on the stress dice.
There we go.
So on a 5, you get away clean unless the GM chooses to spend danger to maintain the pursuit or forces you to flee for your life again. Oh, where are we on them? Oh gosh, I'm using a dungeon map. My God, this is amazing. So you make it through into MedLab and you close the door. I will not spend danger to pursue the. You close, you close the door. But these are internal doors. They're not kind of lock doors. And you hear this kind of impact on the other side of the door. And maybe you see a bulge appear. Let's cut back to Benny and Layla. Layla being calm, Benny not being calm. Layla, what do you do? Benny is clearly.
I want, yeah, I want a gun. So this thing's got a lot. This thing's got a locker.
Let's get guns.
Yeah, you will have to go down to the armory on, as I remember, B deck. Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go down there, and at the same time, I'm gonna pop my comm.
Okay.
And say, Harris.
There's a fucking xenomorph thing here.
Yeah, that's what they tangle with on the ship. It must have melted through the deck and
It's
the
fucking
hull
left that ship and
eventually.
it's on this ship now.
No, there's something here too.
Well, there's a really big one here. I've killed one already.
Yeah.
I'd kill it.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes,
They
let's get guns.
They shot the hell out of it up here. I don't know what happened. Or what happened to them. There's no sign of any of them. 4 out of the 6 signed out. 2 should still be on board, but I don't see anything from them. But then they were fighting between the deck and the cargo hold. So the hull and the cargo hold. So maybe somebody's down there. I don't know.
Natalie's down, by the way.
Shit.
By the way.
Yeah.
What happened to her?
She ain't got no lower legs. Let's just leave it at that. Some sort of acid shit got all over her.
Shit, that's terrible. That's really awful. I'm so sorry to hear that about Natalie. Poor Natalie.
Acid from what?
So, some auto ducks trying to sort her out, but she ain't got those legs back.
What I'm seeing,
Benny, I get an interesting idea as to what kind of movies you like to watch.
This conversation is going on, I think.
As I'm moving.
Well, I'm going to come to you in a minute, but as Layla and Benny are certainly moving down towards the B deck armory. Yeah.
And then
the shortest route, I suppose.
Shortest route.
Let me leave you.
And then
hang on. Let me leave this as you having the conversation on your way.
Okay.
Jim, while you're having the conversation, we can go split screen here as Layla and Benny walk and talk. What are you doing?
Mechanically, if I take her with me, how will that affect my rolls?
It'll mean that you are slow and you'll need to put her down to use expertise.
Okay. But this door is currently holding.
That door is currently holding. Yeah.
Okay. I'll
You can hear.
She'll be fine.
I'll grab her.
Yeah.
And I'll. I mean, she's a bit lighter now, isn't she? Because she's missing 2 feet. So yeah, I'll sling her over her shoulders, and I'll take her along with me.
Fine. So you've been walkie-talkie in one hand, Natalie over the other. We've probably seen the shot of you talking, and then we see that you're carrying Natalie. So that means you have no free hands for the gun. So that's in your Parker pocket. Benny and Layla. Layla, what do you do when you get to the armory?
check inventory, I guess.
Well, of course, it is locked. Captain only access.
Oh yeah, Benny.
I take out my illegal key card.
It opens, and all that's in there really is the lockbox in which the captain keeps the captain's firearm, and it's open and empty.
They've emptied out the whole thing.
And
Okay, now I'm starting to get a little wired.
Wait, are there any weapons on our shuttle?
No.
What? Why not?
Well, because the captain didn't release the captain's firearm to anyone. Nobody asked him for it. He was just going down to check on an SOS, for goodness sake. There's no need for that. Has anyone thought to communicate with the captain? I wonder.
I'm doing that now. At this point.
Oh, hi, Layla. What's the state of play? And why am I talking to you and not Jim?
Jim's busy.
Okay. So what do you
I'll
make
explain.
of this SOS?
Natalie Hicks is down. She was attacked by a Xeno of some kind.
What?
Yes. Jim's been trying to patch her up over there on the signal. No idea from him yet what the signal was from. Crew of the Bison of the Lake? Yeah, the Lake. Crew of the Lake tangled, I'm presuming, with another Xeno.
What do you mean, Xeno? Some kind of wild animal?
Something. Something. There's
nothing in the files about that. There's nothing down there bigger than a fingernail.
No, there's something evidently though that's acidic, that burned through a hole in the cargo floor of the cargo hold.
What the?
That they shot at, and all of the heavy weaponry is missing from the ship's hold, from the ship's inventory.
Benny breaks in at this point and goes, "Captain, what did I fucking tell you? What did I fucking tell you?"
Captain, we have to get out of here.
Okay.
This is a death trap.
So get back in the shuttle and come up.
Roger.
Jim, half a click away from the shuttle, carrying Natalie. I wasn't going to spend that danger to have you pursued.
Yep, you are now.
I think I will. There we go. As you're going through this, the wind is howling, and then maybe you hear some creaking up there in the superstructure back behind you. What do you do?
I'll just drop her off my back and pull my pistol out.
Okay.
Hopefully she doesn't go over the side and falls.
No. I mean, you're at ground level. You're working. You've made your way some distance. Maybe you're halfway there. And then you hear this, and you stop, and I see you stand, over her protectively. The Marine kicks in with the gun. And then you see this shadow moving smoothly through the superstructure above you. What do you do? Because you get to go first.
How big is it?
It's slightly sinuous, but you'd have said bigger than man-sized. 7-8 feet high, maybe. But it sometimes it seems quite compact, and then sometimes when it reaches for something, it seems quite long.
I'll just say to Natalie, hopefully it doesn't go for things that are moving. Just stay here.
Natalie's unconscious. There's no.
I'll still say it to her, and then I'll run.
Flee for your life. Go for it. You can roll the grey and the orange. You can have the stress dice if you'd like it.
Yeah, let's have the stress dice.
Seems appropriate. Oh.
Oh.
You love to roll 5 on that stress.
I do like a nice bit of stress. Stress is at 5?
That's stress goes up again. Oh God. Are you up at 5 now? Hell,
No, 5. That's not 6.
Okay, it's not 6. And so I think that is where we finish this episode with the instruction to get the hell off that rock. Jim running, abandoning Natalie. At which point, of course, Natalie's going to come around and say, "Jim, Jim." So we know she's alive. And I think that's where we'll cut until next time. I'd like to do a quick stars and wishes, if that's okay. I'm going to start with Brandon and then Paul. I'll come to you last, Ronan, because you may not have done this before if this is your first open hearth. So, Brandon, any stars?
Oh yeah.
Any
No,
wishes?
Benny's complete fright was a delight, as is the detour to the med things.
Yeah.
Benny always on the make. God knows how he got out here. And Jim being completely, I know I'm in control of, don't tell me anything. I'll give you an opinion when I want you to have one, kind of thing.
And obviously no man left behind.
Yeah, that's the Marines motto, right?
Any wishes, Brandon, for next time?
Wishes. Well, I can see mayhem in the offing. I'm content.
Mayhem. Okay. Paul, any stars, any wishes? Oh,
You're
you are
on mute.
muted.
Some great character generation, really different characters. Brendan brought it from the start with Layla. Benny's, really great character. That was shown in what the players did. So I really liked that from my fellow players. And Alan, it was tense from the word go, and you really do advertise that stress dice really well. Great setting. Great players. So great GM, great setting, really good.
Any wishes for next time?
No, we got plenty more. We got plenty more spare characters, so that's fine.
Fair enough. And finally, Ronan, any star? So a star is anything you want to pick out that you enjoyed or you'd want to see more of.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this system. Actually, I want to pick out the system in particular as really fun and very fast and unpredictable, which is great. And the character creation was nice and simple and straightforward and quick as well. And came up, as you say, Paul, with some really interesting characters. I've loved Jim and his no nonsense sort of impatience to just go and do that thing, whatever that thing is to do. You got to do it now. Great fun, and also Layla's sardonic, cool collective, which was the perfect foil, I think, for Benny's utter uselessness.
He's been very useful, actually.
Yeah.
He's just been frightened.
Yeah, narratively, he's done a lot. Trust me. He's worked hard. Any wishes for what you'd like to see next time?
I would wish to keep my lower legs.
Okay, I'm writing in large letters here. Survival. You never know your luck, do you? You never know your luck.
That doesn't necessarily mean survival. Just bury me with my lower legs.
Stars for me, yeah. Ronan, you really hit the ground running. Thank you for that. Brandon, a star to you because you know what happened on the lake because you played it last week.
Right.
Oh no!
So thank you for your willingness not to know what you know. For Layla not to know what Brandon knows. That was really good of you. Thank you.
It's easy to play ignorant, but it's like I have no idea what could cause that.
And Paul, I just love the idea that he's driven to do stuff, but then shit, that's a xenomorph of some that's a dangerous wild thing. So Natalie, you'll be fine. Do you make any effort to avoid shooting Natalie when you shoot the facehugger?
No.
You know what though? That was the right move. that was absolutely the right move.
Well,
Well,
she was getting a cut. So if she goes, that's less of a cut.
Yeah.
More money.
I was
Oh,
thinking
dear.
more from your point
it's
of
like
view.
I want to
Yeah.
know. I want to have a flashback to the trauma that made you this way.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
clearly
Let's
there's
play
a
that.
whole story of betrayal there. That
Yeah,
you
the
know,
Liberty boat, it left 2 minutes early, and I was left on a dockside.
yeah, something you were clearly screwed so badly at that point. You know, you've never trusted anybody ever since.
Yeah.
It might be worthwhile between now and next time looking at Secretly from the Horror, because there is a significantly different option in there compared to the other games of this ilk. So look, we are just about on time. I'm going to stop recording. I will demonstrate good open hearth practice by first asking, is it okay if I publish this to the open hearth site?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I will